Yo, what's good? You already know it's your boy Kenwall.
It's your boy Deja Wonder.
And you guys are tuning into another episode of Understated. Let's get it. This is a very informational type episode.
The whole merch bundling situation from way back when, the Nicki Minaj versus Travis Scott thing, what that's about, where that came from, how that ties into not only streams but album sales, all of that mess, and you know, it's just one of those things where people really don't understand where things have shifted in the music industry and why things are the way they are, and we just kind of want to explain that in this episode. Looking at information that's out there about these streaming platforms, one of the things that's detrimental for them, and we'll see how this plays out in the long run, as everything sounds sweet, is that yes, they can pay artists, but the business model, as I understand it, for these streaming platforms isn't great because they have to pay per stream. So no matter how many people you add to the music service, so you could charge as many people on Spotify and $10, and each time a new person adds, that's more money that obviously has to go in the pocket of the artist.
Yeah.
And as a result, just because the pool gets bigger, it doesn't mean that Spotify's taking in more money. They keep losing more money because more people, more streams, more money has to go out. So I don't know how this is going to play out for the Spotify's and the titles.
It's like it reminds me of the GameStop business model. Just shit.
Yeah.
GameStop business model is awful.
Could you talk about it a little bit?
It's kind of the same thing where it's like they struggle trying to keep money.
Yeah.
Because remember, they have to pay for like a lot of the money, well, at least the sales don't really go towards them.
Yeah.
It's like when the new game comes out, that $60 price tag, I'm pretty sure they don't get. It's either they don't get any of it or they get a small amount. That's why they want.
Small.
That's why they want you to buy their pre-order games. They live off the pre-ordering and returning system because that's how they get most of their money. And then that stupid power-up rewards card, that's how they get money. But at the end of the day, that won't, compared to $60 and like a constant thing, a game's gonna come out constantly. And that's a consistent thing that they're losing money out on. It's like music. Music comes out every day. Yeah. And when you stream it, you gotta pay for the stream, right?
Yeah. You have to. That's a sizable amount of money going out. And
some dummies, yo.
And the problem is, that's why we suggest that Spotify become the new MTV, the new VH1. Yeah. Basically, you buy or pay upfront. I don't know how they're gonna do it because I think they're like in the hole right now. But you buy premium content, like you work and collaborate with artists. You get documentaries. I don't know how they're gonna do this competing with YouTube, but they should like get it whereby the videos only play on Spotify, and the artists and the consumers that they already have paying the $10, they get access to that content. It's like but you can't charge them more. They're already paying for it. But I'm just like, if you buy the rights to that outright, then whoever decides to join because they realize your platform has all of this new stuff, that extra money is coming towards you. So then they wouldn't have to focus on relying on the streams as much. Yeah. It's like they have this new content that's always frequently...
And it's not like you're doing anything extra, like it's out of the way.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of...
Yeah,
it's in the app.
When you're working out, you could, new video drop, I could watch it.
Exactly. And it's like
regularly, when you're going to listen to music any time of the day, you could just pop open the video. That would be dope. And then, like, you know the three dots? Yeah. You know how types of view album, view artist, say view video. Yeah. Like, easy like that. Boom.
Yeah,
like, I'm just thinking this shit on the fly.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
come on,
I don't
bro.
know. I'm just like, you should be able to get exclusive content from the artist. Like, legit. Yeah. And in this day and age, the platforms just have to.
Because then it would be cool. Because then Spotify can make an emphasis on making creative videos.
Yes, exactly.
Stupid type videos.
They can collaborate with artists on making their videos, have exclusive content from the artist. I'm like, in a day where people just take you can go on Instagram and these guys are just like filming themselves. You could basically get that exclusive content and be like, hey, just for our consumers, we're gonna put this out there for them and do this on a frequent basis.
Yeah.
Like they should be able to get more up to date stuff on the artist.
Yeah.
Like it'd be great if Spotify started having articles written about the artist. It's like they become the one-stop shop for music. So if anybody works at Spotify, I would definitely invest in these
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Spotify guy, so I got biased, so that's why I'm rooting for Spotify.
Spotify heavy, yeah.
Fuck Apple Music, man. I don't like Apple Music. I really don't. I don't like it. I don't. People say it's louder. I don't see why it's louder. I have Beats, so I don't. Everything's the same volume.
Yeah, it's almost.
People go like Tidal and Apple Music is louder than Spotify. I'm like, it's kind of hard. Like with my laptop, it's loud already. If I'm gonna if I blast it, like max volume, it doesn't sound any different than on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, I don't really see how that's a selling point for a person that's gonna pay. Like
people
like the Beats headphones. It's a different thing. It's like if you tell them the sound quality.
Clearly, there's a difference.
There's a clear difference. And on top of that, somebody's gonna think twice because they're paying $300 for it.
Yeah.
So that's a huge margin for somebody to be like, I'm gonna swing this way or that way.
Yeah.
When it comes to these streaming platforms,
there's
unless
gotta
your
be
shit
more
sounds
involved.
rickety, you're not gonna be that hung up
Janky
about
is
it.
all like.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, we gotta go back to the merch bundle.
Yes, the merch.
Because I actually, it's weird. It's like a good thing and a bad thing. Honestly, the reason why I think it's a kind of a good thing. Cause actually explain it. Explain it real quick first.
So basically, what this whole merch bundling scenario was that artists make a lot of their money on tour, opposed to like album sales and things like that.
Yeah, this should be a known thing.
Yeah,
if you don't research
it, they don't make a lot of their money from their album sales because you have to pay the label, you have to pay all these different people. So the amount of money they take in from the album sales is low. But they make the majority of their money with the tours. So what this merch bundling has done, and this actually started back with Prince, like a couple years back, where he, for his album, basically he bundled it with his ticket sales for his tour. So what ended up happening was his ticket sales, because the album was tied into that, also counted as album sales. As a result, Prince was like on the Billboard charts for about 28 weeks, which is 7 months. That's like a really good thing to have. Like imagine just being like, yo, I've been on the Billboard charts for 7 months. It's like a great claim to fame. So Billboard was like, yo, this is kind of weird. Like we should change the rules on that. And as a result, they decided, they were like, hey, look, if you're gonna be bundling the album with the ticket, with the tour, like first of all, you need to tell the customer that this price isn't just for the tour. Yeah. Because what they were doing was coupling the album, the price of the album within the ticket sale. So they said, look, you either have to give the customer the option to include. Oh,
so it would be like $100 and then plus the $20.
But they wouldn't tell you. So you'd be paying $120 off top when you should just be paying $100. Yeah. So they were like, look, you either have to give them the option to to include the album in the ticket sale, or they could buy the ticket at the reduced price of not including the album. Okay. And on top of that, they have to go and redeem the album after they download it in order for it to be counted as a sale. Okay. So those were the new Billboard rules. Basically, what ended up happening with the Travis Scott situation was Travis Scott was doing merch bundling. So, what did he offer? Hold on, let me get this.
Shirts, right?
Get this right.
Shirts, hats.
Yes. So
bum-looking ass clothing.
So with the purchase of his merchandise, you got pre-sale access to concert tickets and a redeemable download of Astroworld. So what was special about Travis Scott's way of his album rollout was for 9 days, I think from when the album was released, 9 days after, like from the time the album was released till 9 days afterwards, on his website, he was releasing new merchandise. And you couldn't get the merchandise from the day before. So there was that exclusivity factor. As a result, he sold like, I think it was like upward of 200K worth of merchandise. Now, with that 200K worth of merchandise, came the album with it. And I think it was redeemable. So in that sense that he was like, did he really sell $200,000 worth of albums? Technically speaking, no. He sold $200,000 worth of merchandise, and the album came with it. Now, there hasn't been any clear research saying how much of those albums were redeemed per the Billboard rules. Come Nicki Minaj has her album roll out.
Fit.
Yes, she has her album roll out
the bitch fit.
the week after Travis Scott releases his album. So now, the thing is, she has what's called the Queen's Priority Pass. Basically, same idea. You get like, early access to like her tour dates and stuff like that, and you have a digital download of the album.
Yeah.
I don't know, because there hasn't been real clear distinctions between the two, but I want to make it known that in the articles that I was reading, hers says digital download, his says redeemable album. So I don't know if that counts because hers wasn't, but those are the Billboard rules. So she was upset, basically saying that, hey, he sold merchandise, and that's where his album sales really came from. That's why he was on top number one.
So what did she do?
For the second week in a row. She had what's called her Queen's Priority Pass, which essentially did the same thing, but it wasn't merchandise that she was selling.
Okay, all right.
So as a result, what ends up happening is Travis Scott's album comes out, Nicki Minaj's album comes out. Travis Scott is number one 2 weeks in a row. Why is that? Because, like I said, he did his thing, his rollout for 9 days worth of merchandise. So he's still selling at an exponential rate, at a high rate compared to Nicki, because he has the added boost of the people going for the merchandise, and the album sales are counting towards that. So what she was essentially saying was that the bundled album should count differently. The Billboard should change the rules for the way the bundled album is sold.
I agree.
Yes. I think there's some truth to that. There's absolutely some truth to that. I just think it's just like, you guys were all merch bundling. He just did it better.
He just did. That's the reason why I can't fault. I like the merch. Like I said, thinking of a consumer, like an actual knowledgeable, informed consumer, that is a good deal for the consumer. The consumer's winning.
Yes.
That's a very good deal.
Yeah.
The consumer should be winning. I feel like that's why it's hard for people to come out. That's a good deal. The consumers are winning for once.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the merch bundling. It just, you have to count it in terms of records and stuff.
Yeah.
The billboards, count it differently. I have no problem with that. But Travis Scott, don't get rid of the merch bundle. Or Nicki Minaj. Like, it's a good, that's a good thing.
See, there's a dark side to the merch bundling that I was reading about. Because what can end up happening is you can sell an item online for $10 and say, hey, if you buy this item, it comes with access to tour dates before anybody else can get it if you buy this item. And it comes with the free digital album. Now, they can charge you, let's say, a necklace that doesn't take long to make. It costs the production cost is maybe $1 or $2. They will charge you $10 automatically and be like, hey, you get the free digital album, you get the access, and some of these tour dates, they don't even have tour dates for them. They just say, well, whenever they come out, you'll get access to it first. The problem with that is, now you can sell an item that's not worth $10 for $10 because the album is associated with it. So now the question becomes, are you paying for the album or are you paying for the item? An item that could cost $2, they can charge you $10.
Because actually, but it's still, because what I'm thinking merch is kind of like, it's kind of like a physical copy. How much do physical copies cost? 13 to 15?
Yeah, in stores,
13
yeah,
to 15?
$13 to $15.
So
yeah.
it's like you're buying a physical copy plus other stuff.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you could look at it like that because you're buying one thing, but the merch, it's kind of merch. You buy it online, but it comes physical. The form of it is physical. So that's what it kind of reminds me of a physical copy with.
Yeah, it's just like it's on the one hand, it's kind of like how we describe looking at video game sales versus movie sales.
Yeah.
One of them requires a huge upfront cost, and the video games aren't as cheap as movie tickets.
Yeah.
So if you're saying, look, hey, they're not the video games aren't. It's not as impressive for video games. I'm like, first of all, it costs like four to 5 times the cost of a regular movie ticket. You've already paid $400 to $500 for the system, so here with this thing, it's like, yeah, we can do the merch bundling, but you're still getting the album. You're still getting essentially what you paid for. So what it comes down to, in my opinion, is just somebody's a sore loser, and
it's just, you said her bitch fit was just annoying because you just lost. You took just take the out. Just take your out.
And the way she went after him was disrespectful.
Yeah, that was disrespectful. Yeah, that was really disrespectful. Like he should have done. If it was me, I would have done something about it. It was cool. Travis Scott stayed in his lane. He was like, "Yo, let me just sit back and watch you explode."
I mean, he still won. But...
Yeah, but like you said, keep the merch bundle. But Billboard, you got to do a better job. This is on them, honestly, to do something with the stats. And the record.
And I don't.
The
they
record
don't put
should
it out.
be different.
Yeah, they don't put out how many albums were redeemed, so we don't know what the numbers are looking like. So, as much information as I've gathered, this is still speculation on some part.
Yeah.
But they're not whatever they used to calculate this. Still said that Travis was number 1.
Yeah.
So either way, I mean, Nicki exposed things so that we can now sit here and have this discussion, but ultimately, Yeah,
I'm not saying he didn't earn those streams too.
I
think he more than he deserved it, but
it's
like I said, keep it separate. Keep it separate. Break down some categories like streams. It's like redeemable.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
One's redeemable, one's digital album.
Digital.
And just to go, delve into this a little bit deeper, what the numbers suggest is that there's other artists that have done merch bundling.
Yeah.
And they only stay on top, like number 1, for about a week. Their first week.
Yeah.
And then they do a huge dip because everybody's only interested in the album because they're getting the exclusive merch. What ends up happening is you see that the albums that don't do any merch bundling end up staying on top for more than 1 week.
Yeah, so it's like
there's that organic nature to things that in a snapshot it might look that you're doing really well. But if we look a little bit deeper and a little bit further out, you'll see that people that do the merch bundling, they tend to not stay on top the longest. Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to play out in the long run. And, this is just something to think about how the music industry is just going in general. Like, everybody wants to be number 1 so they can have these accolades, but they're all trying to find shortcuts to do it.
Well, I don't know. It's just kind of hard to see the bad in the merch bundling.
I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just like, if this is the new standard, well, what else are we gonna come up with in order to make sure that the artists get paid? What else?
This is the weird thing. It's like I gotta pay attention to it, but like you said, it comes back to the consumer. Is the consumers really getting hurt from this, or is this benefiting them? I think it's benefiting them. So it's like it's kind of hard to. Like, just being me and, like, with gaming and stuff and getting, like, always just the short end of the stick, being a consumer, this is, like, kind of hard where it's, like, is it really bad? Like I said, with the stats-wise, it's bad.
Yeah.
But being a consumer, how the way it's going, if you want to get to the top and you're doing stuff like that where it's, like, exclusive stuff, you get tour dates, you get all this stuff, won't you in order to be a better merch bundler marketing, like, I guess the specialist or whatever, you're going to have to provide more for the consumer, right? So it's like, wouldn't that be a good thing? Because that's how competition works.
That's true.
With consumers.
I guess
if it's Apple and Samsung starts doing better than Apple, Apple best believe is gonna have to start updating their phones when it comes out the next year, every year.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to start adding stuff to their phones. That's how competition works, and then that benefits the consumer.
Yeah, and the only dark side to this I could see with the merch bundling is if the merch is super overpriced.
Yes, that's the only thing. That's the only.
Besides,
see, y'all better not do that. Y'all better not. Don't get, like I said, these big artists. Those are the ones you got to look out for.
Yeah,
they're the ones you get the trust. Don't be, because a lot of people, because it's their people, they like their artists.
Yeah,
they start getting blinded by, like, oh, I'll support this, blah blah blah. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that, because then we start getting into some terrible territory. And you guys don't want that. People don't got money to spend like that. Stop it. Please stop it. Get some help. Like, learn about, be a consumer first. But yeah, y'all definitely tune into this, what we said. Even though we're unnamed folks, we still think pretty smart, and
we're just trying to help.
We're just trying to help. Screw Apple Music, I don't like them.
Yo, what if Apple Music wants to host our show?
Then I apologize. I'll apologize. But yeah, we talked about merch bundling.
Yeah.
And how it's good for the consumer and how it's bad for determining who sells the most.
Yeah.
How it's bad. There's the dark side and then the good side.
Yeah.
We're on the good side right now. The consumers, if you're a consumer,
we're always
winning.
gonna be
we're getting the dub.
On the side of the person that gets screwed over the most.
Yeah.
And we don't want that for anybody, so.
You guys just finished another episode of Understated. I hope you guys enjoyed. Try engaging in in the conversation. We always want that. Hear different point of views. Like, follow. We're on Facebook, iTunes, right?
iTunes, Spotify.
iTunes, Spotify. Every place that has podcasts.
Yeah,
almost every common place that has podcasts, you'll catch us on there.
Nice.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You already know who it is. I'm Ken Wall.
It's your boy Deja Wonder.
Have a good one out. Good one, guys. What the fuck?
Bring the noise! Bass! How low can you go?